murder and stuff.
That was how that ended. That was.
I think this place was the old boxing ring on Ferret.
Oh,
They used to have Friday night fights.
Ah, you know what I like?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
In fact, this was the boxing ring, and then you got the Ancora, the pizza place next to it, and the pizza place in the back. I think it's so cool. They have meat hanging, and you can see it through a glass.
Yeah.
And with the boxing place next, I thought it was kind of a Rocky thing. You know,
Right.
This is the most tender beef I have ever had. You know, so it's oh my gosh, they. And Andrew, people should know that you are a singer-songwriter in real life.
A songwriter, singer, yes, sir.
Really? Well, how do you decide how you're going to do that?
I don't know. I just heard that once. I thought it was. I think I gravitate toward writing songs, and I think I'm lucky in the way that it feels like I can perform them convincingly. If not, I'd have moved to Nashville already, and to trying to sell songs to other people. But luckily, I can tour around playing my own tunes, and sometimes with a trio, sometimes solo. Stay small, keep it all. You know what I mean? And but
it's a bumper sticker, if nothing else.
It's a pleasure, and I feel lucky to be able to just play a song and sing it, and that feel like a good enough conveyance of the tune. That
you're always looking for talent. I brought some here.
There you go.
This is so great.
Let's talk.
Let's talk. No one leaves until somebody gets booked. This is the way it's gonna go.
Davis, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Would we share the opinion that the Green Parrot in Key West is one of our favorite places we've ever played, because I know you played there?
Yes, I will. And as a matter of fact, I knew that you knew that I played there because I saw some reminiscence about how you were like walking down the street and saw me on the marquee, and you posted something about that. So I was like, oh, Andrew's in the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, that's right. In fact, I knew that you were there because I was there when you were playing. I was playing down the street, and sure enough, that's right. Yeah.
No, the Green Parrot, it's part of like a dying breed. Imagine a show that was like a road show where you showcased dying public venues that actually like gave a rat's ass and did the right things in terms of the music and the musicians, and you can travel from spot to. Oh wait, but I'm copywriting this idea, or you can take it. It's out there. Neither here nor there. Yeah, no. Green Parrot, one of the last great cool places.
Let's talk about other great cool places while we're at it. Yeah. Who else fits in that road show?
Like places that get it. Like the Beachland in Cleveland.
Never been.
What about the Oyster Bar in St. Louis?
Ooh. Would you give
Noah's nodding on that one.
I'll be there in like 2 weeks.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah.
So you play at these down and out venues around the United States, I guess.
Yes, well, it's various places where they love the New Orleans and they love the New Orleans music, and we go out and we present our music, and then we smile and eat their jambalaya.
Well, that is perfect.
We don't discompliment their attempts at New Orleans cooking. It's just you got to smile, nod, and eat the jambalaya.
Well, what now? So you're a painter.
That is right.
So where do you show?
I show at Jonathan Ferrara Gallery here
That's
in New Orleans.
That's a real gallery.
It's a real
These
gallery.
guys are
real live gallery.
Yeah, that's a very good. You're of a higher nature than some of these others here. So
No, I'm just not a musician.
Oh, you're all artists. That is great.
We're all artists.
Why did you do it? You just decided you just didn't want to go to work, or is that why you all went to these fields?
That's a good question. I would say before I had picked up a guitar or thought that I might be able to write something, I would have wanted to be an entrepreneur, I think.
Oh.
But then the passion or it wasn't a passion at the time, it was just a hobby that developed into a passion. But to start writing things and then record it, and then once you have a CD, then the product or the idea, so to speak, that you need to be an entrepreneur.
Were you that kid in the class that nobody else could draw and you could draw, things like that?
No, I'm not a real drawer.
No?
I just have it. I just had to do it.
And what would we see you in?
I'm an okay drawer. I'm just not that savant person who can draw. Yeah, maybe.
Do you paint with oils, watercolor?
I do. Yeah, and I do oil painting, watercolor. I do installation work. I just made a piece about a month ago with upholstery foam in between two trees at the Mermaid.
Lounge?
What was it? The Mermaid
Lounge. Now the Rusty Nail.
No, but
underneath the airport.
At the show, the reunion show, the Mermaid.
Reunion.
All musicians and some. Yeah, it was good. But yeah, so I do. I paint the land. Yeah, y'all missed that one.
Sorry. Yeah. Where would see you play when you're in town?
I play primarily.
I imagine you're in a band then.
He's just a
I
single
am
bass
indeed.
player by himself. It's an amazing show.
Yeah, I play primarily with a band called Naughty Professor. That's been playing.
dude! All right.
Wow, that's great.
About
Actually,
6
he
years
is leaving
here.
here. He is leaving here with a gig. So there, what do you know?
That is great. That is.
And
I
then,
see. Yeah.
I've
I
been trying to
recently-
get in touch with you guys, but never mind.
I recently started doing my own project about a year and a half ago, just titled The Noah Young Band, and I just released a CD under that name earlier this month. So I've been kind of, trying to get out and promote that. And
Is it just you, your bass, and you're singing, or what?
it's me and my bass and no singing, and a drummer, 2 keyboard players, a guitarist, and a saxophone player.
Oh,
So
very,
it's
very
a
good.
big 6-piece electric instrumental ensemble.
Well, let me ask you. The three of you guys, I at least ask you. I always hear musicians saying they're just going to go sit in with somebody else. Is that just something you do when you're off
Don't
nights,
do
or-
it. Yeah,
Don't
just
do
don't
it.
do it. Yeah,
Sorry,
let's let not even. Yeah.
Really? You don't get paid, or how does that work?
Well, that's for starters. And then secondly, you're like imposing on somebody else's time. you
Yeah,
know?
I try to keep my stage. I practice isolationism in my stage. Nobody in, nobody out. Just keep my
Yeah.
stage without anybody sitting.
I work every day, but sometimes it's just like sitting in the studio looking at
And is your
things
studio
thinking-
your home?
It's the downstairs of my house, yeah.
Okay, so you need
it's
to
great.
separate
It's a
it.
great place.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, since I'm surrounded by these musician people, that my show that just closed 2 days ago at Johnson Ferrara was called Sisters, and it was all about female musicians. So it was each piece. There were, I think, 19 in the show was about my relationship to these different artists, from Janice to TLC to Nina to Billy. So I mean,
wow.
I'm
And when
very
you use
involved
the
with
first-
music in my own way, even though I'm not a musician. But
When you're using the first name, that's a sign you're
well,
pretty.
those are the titles of the
Okay,
pieces,
all right,
which I wrote on the wall next to the work. So
Now, Davis.
Grant was at my opening.
And Davis once played as a transvestite just to get into the show with you, which was terrific.
Yeah, I've debased myself for publicity on any number. Speaking of
seen
debasing yourself in publicity, I would like to let people know that the Carver Theater is now alive and open for business.
that's
and
amazing. It's
one of the
it's a
great
big-
things to talk
It's a big new, like the state and the city and the feds just put $1 bazillion into the place, and they've actualized it into something. Great Monday, Wednesday, Thursday night. We have these weekly series. So there's blues on Monday, Frenchman Street Style jazz bands on Wednesday, and the TBC brass band will be holding down Thursday, starting at 8 o'clock. So for all those people in real life who have real things to do the next day, we decided to do. Maybe I'm of a certain age. No, I don't know. The kids
No,
these
it's
days.
fine.
But
He's been up for 3 days.
For dudes of a certain age, we've got you got kids, you have real job, you have whatnot. We are starting nice and early. We want to have people come out and support that. We got some food trucks, and it's a very reasonable.
What do the weekends look like at the Carver?
The weekends look like some very exciting bands that I'm wrangling contracts with. So
You should invite AJ Croce because I know he was interested in that theater.
I would love to have
I wanna
AJ.
introduce
We
you.
in fact have a
Jim
we have a-
Croce's brother? Or
We have a son.
His son.
We have a,
No
we have
way!
a-
I
we
just
have a
made that up.
5'8" Chickering. We have a really lovely piano in the upstairs
He
lounge
will,
area.
I think he wants to play at the Carver.
Well, I will have him anytime. And you've been on my radar too, so no offense.
Yes.
I'm pointing to Noah for those of you in radio.
and
lands who are wondering.
when I see the Naughty Professors on a telephone pole, I just
Is that still legal?
I've taught at Tulane for 30 years. I want to be the Naughty Professor. How did you come up with that, by the way? Did you have a Naughty Professor?
It's really not a very good story, but I'll tell it anyway because we're just talking here. The band started when we were all freshmen at Loyola, and we pretty quickly got together and had a gig opportunity that we wanted to do. So then, of course, we had to come up with a band name, which is always the most difficult thing in my experience. And we just talked about it for a week and had so many different ideas that were all shot down. And then our trumpet player was talking about how he had an English teacher who was really hot and kept wearing less and less clothing throughout the semester. And
female?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Who I believe
that's
has
nothing wrong with
moved
kids.
and
Yes, go on.
gotten married since then. But
I'm interested. I'm very
So-
interested.
the term Naughty Professor came up, and it was the best thing we could come up with, so
Good.
it stuck.
It's stuck. Yeah, that's.
I thought it was downright clever.
Oh, absolutely. Andrew, what do you perform under? Andrew or?
Yeah, I haven't come up with something clever yet, so I just go with Andrew
What,
Dubois.
What if
I
we
wanted
just
to thank you for all the leads that you sent me about performing solo in England, because the nice thing is that none of it panned out so much as I started a conversation with people who were interested, and I was able to set up something really successful that was awesome. So
Did you?
Yes, I mean, and,
All right.
and not just. I mean, like the ABC leads didn't follow so much as the start emailing people over there until you find someone who's hip to you.
Oh, right, yeah.
And that totally worked out.
You know what I would use?
Yes.
I would use Grant's accent. That's what I would use. Just trying to get through.
Oh no! If you they actually like the way Americans sound, which is just so strange because you could go over there and you're like, all of a sudden you hear someone from the Midwest and your blood starts to curl, and they're just like, oh no, it's fascinating. I'm like, really? And you can't make fun of their accents.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
I was poo-pooed on the World Service.
Really?
Yes.
Well, you don't want to
But
be
you can't
poo-pooed
say-
anywhere, but particularly
But
on the
not
World
not
Service.
on the
they-
BBC World Service.
And, now, the three musicians, I got to ask, did you do this because, what hit you to be a musician? I mean, did you just like to work at night, or did,
I wrote some funny words, and so I kind of taught myself a little piano.
piano is what you, okay.
Yeah.
And no, did you start out with bass? Have you always been a bassist?
I played drums for a while when I was
Mother made you stop?
younger.
Yep.
And then I got a bass, and I played both for a little while, and then I decided to stick with bass, which I'm very happy about now that I moved to New Orleans, because there are so many great drummers here and a
that
lot
is true.
less great bass players, I think. So I get the opportunity to play with a lot of great drummers all the time.
And no, where were you coming from before you went to Loyola?
Vermont. I grew up in Vermont, and I moved here when I was 19, about 6.5 years ago.
So that was at Loyola, right?
Yeah.
And you're also from.
Because you were going to work
were
at
you-
Ben and Jerry's, and then you decided,
sure.
that's so great.
Exactly.
Oh no, but where'd you? So this is our question. So where'd you go to school?
High school?
Yeah.
Rummel High School.
Gotcha.
brah.
He knew, huh?
Archbishop Rummel, brah.
Brah.
Why, you could have guessed
Wait.
that?
Is that in Canterbury?
Nah, brah, it's in Metry,
It's in
brah.
Metry.
All right, bro.
Wow, no, all right, so where did you guys go to high school?
I'm Franklin. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
You have to pretend you're not smart? I mean, no,
I just
Oh, he's not smart. He
No,
just
I
went to
know,
Franklin.
just
I'm not smart. I just went to Franklin.
I went to École Classique.
Yeah.
Which doesn't exist anymore, right?
I went to the one on Napoleon Avenue
Oh.
because it was 2 blocks from our house, and my mom had 4 kids in 5 years, so we went there. But we were still always late. But yeah, now it's in Metry.
Right on.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Somebody should start a lingerie shop called Metry Bras.
Oh,
That would work.
yeah.
Well, you mentioned your entrepreneurial
You're an
spirit
entrepreneur,
earlier.
right.
I got ideas. You guys want to hear my latest idea?
Oh, sure,
Can I
sure,
give you-
go,
can I
go,
give you
go.
my elevator
I mean,
pitch?
definitely.
Here's your elevator pitch. Go.
So, I've already done it a couple of times, but tell me what you think. It's an event that happens kind of like a Pilot Fish Festival off of something like Jazz Fest. There's a lot of post-festival activities, right? You got your DJs, your naughty professors, your jam bands, your psychedelic, whatever, your party stuff after. But nobody does anything before. Nobody does anything for the morning people. What if somebody comes to New Orleans? They want to maximize their day. They want to get up early, have a coffee and some breakfast, but they don't have an opportunity to do that and go hear the music that they love or pair it with any sort of event. So what if I posed a mellow AM vibe sort of bill of music to you, as well as some brunch, some coffee, some
Niche.
mimosas, some bloodies,
Niche.
and we call it Breakfast,
Oh, my
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
right?
Oh, that is so great.
So, yeah,
you
that's-
need musicians to get up at that hour. You've got
That is
Well,
the
there-
challenge.
no,
Or they
just find the
stay
musicians
up.
who are still up.
I don't
Right,
get it.
yeah, that's a thing. And
you know
yeah,
what
so
you need there? You need art with it, too. That's,
Yeah.
I think
can make it
waffles
pop.
more than art. You need waffles.
waffles?
need waffles. That is.
But
I
don't
do
do the show
remember-
at Waffle House. That's very
Do you have to
crowded.
make your own waffles? Is it a thing?
I don't know, but MC Tracheotomy a few years ago at Voodoo Fest did a waffle making performance at the
I like
11
that.
a.m. show. It was
So
very
you can
good.
book him.
Oh
He
wow!
can-
Yeah, no, I saw
could take
King.
both
I saw
roles.
Harvey King make a sandwich during an Iris May Tango show, and like it was all part of the performance art as it was going. And Tom McDermott does a thing where he like makes gumbo and explains it while he's playing.
I can just
I
see
guess it must be a
Noah's
4-hour
mind is
performance,
spinning.
right?
He's right now. He's just wondering what he can do on stage.
He doesn't
Yes.
need a gimmick anymore. He doesn't need.
Really,
He's got youth and buzz and all that kind of stuff. He doesn't need this stuff.
Yeah, youth. Let's talk to him about estate and things like that. Let's freak him out. Where in Vermont were you, by the way? I grew up in Boston, so.
I grew up in a really small town called Marshfield, which is like a half an hour from Montpelier, about an hour from Burlington, about 3 hours from Boston. It's a town of like 1,000 people.
So Montpelier would be your big town.
Exactly.
I remember my dad. I was a young boy. My dad was going to get transferred to run his branch in Montpelier, and mom said no. There's just too many cows, not enough people, and but it's a beautiful state.
It is beautiful. I mean, it's a little cold this half of the year, and I'm very glad to be in New Orleans instead. But if you go in the summer, it's pretty nice.
And how'd you hear about Loyola? Just for the music program? Is that?
Yeah.
Were you chasing a girl or anything? Is there anything else that?
No,
okay,
I was just
checking.
looking at colleges with music programs, and I mean, there weren't really that many to choose from. I was looking at a place in New York and a place in Montreal, which I didn't get into, and a few other places. And once I visited, Loyola was the pretty obvious choice, which is funny because it has a reputation of having a very prestigious jazz program. But once I went there, I got to say it was pretty frustrating and not that great, and I left after a year and a half. But I'm very happy that it brought me to New Orleans.
And you did not become a priest.
No.
No, it's just there's so much to know.
So, speaking of aberrant things, what do you think about 5 and 6 string basses?
I play
Worse than
five-string
priests?
bass.
Oh, shoot, then. Oh, never mind. That was a horrible lead.
Can I
think-
ask a question?
Sure, yeah. That's,
Since I'm surrounded by 3 musicians,
Yep.
everyone has a relationship with music. Everyone.
True.
But a lot of musicians, in my experience, don't have a relationship with art, with visual art. What?
Oh, no, I was
What,
just think
David?
these 3 guys. They probably.
Wait, what is your relationship with visual art?
Renaissance men,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm interested. Like, everybody, I think, loves
and sometimes
music.
they're one and the same people, right? There's Joni Mitchell or something
Well,
like that.
yeah, but
Just try it.
no,
Yeah.
her, Bob Dylan,
Yeah.
what, Henry Miller, but he's
That's
not.
Hold on, wait. What about Shel Silverstein?
What about him?
Well, I mean, he was an awesome songwriter who also did some pretty cool visual
I know,
stuff.
but it almost sounds like you're evading my question.
Am I evading? What is my relationship
Yeah.
Well,
with
yeah, like
visual
what?
art?
Are you
Like,
afraid of art, Davis?
What is my relationship? My relationship with visual
You
art is that my
scared?
big sister went to RISD on a scholarship and I didn't, so I don't
All right,
know
well, then,
art.
then you're out. You're out.
Okay,
what about
just-
you two?
I tried.
I think.
But I mean, do you look at stuff? Do you
Sure.
go to shows?
Absolutely.
Do you like painting? Do you,
I think going to the Tate Modern in London every year. I make it to
That's
the
cool.
UK every summer except for this summer, it looks like. But been going for I don't know, 7 or 8 years now, and that's always my favorite stop. I don't go to a whole bunch of museums, but that's
well, if you're going to go to one, it's not a bad one.
it used to be maybe a handful of places I would go, and it's become just a trip to the Tate Modern, and I think that place has taught me that it's much like whatever the artist is giving to the medium, how much time, how much whatever it is that they're giving to it, that's how much you can take out if you spend time with it and experience it. And read a little bit about it and figure out how it was made. And it can be the simplest thing, but when you admit the bravery that went into presenting this as they didn't just make it; they put it in a gallery and said, "This is my fucking art."
Yeah.
And to do
Let him
that,
have it, Andrew.
Yeah, to do that is brave with some of this stuff,
I love that
because
you're
of the
saying that, 'cause
simplicity
it's
of it,
true.
And
Well,
and,
you're so vulnerable. You're out.
Sure,
It's like
yeah.
you take your stuff and you put it for everybody to.
and I think
I-
I
same
think
with
these
you
fellas
guys.
understand. Yeah, when you put out a song, then it's finished, practically speaking. You're putting it out there. You're presenting it as a finished piece. So,
It's almost like when you show art, like painting, sculpture, installation, whatever you do, you're showing it. It's like the first time you play music for somebody because you all play this. I mean, all musicians
Well, I'd like
play
to admit
stuff
that my
repeatedly.
response was flip and that his was sincere.
I
and
know.
actually
really
was-
sincerity is
It's
underrated.
next to godliness, I think.
Irony and sarcasm and all that other
Now,
shit.
Noah,
you
do
know,
you
I'm just
pick
kidding.
you pick your
You're
paintings according
mocking
to
my
the
bag?
Only because I know you, David.
Noah, do you pick your paintings according to what matches the sofa, or do you you have some art background?
No, not really. I do enjoy some I guess visual art from time to time, but for the most part, I don't find myself really having the attention span to like go to a museum and look at a lot of paintings and.
How about the attention span to actually paint? Now that must be something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really
you
is.
must have it.
But this
You
last
don't get
series,
up
I did
early
it
or
all
anything.
in a day. Each piece was done in a day.
Is that the way you usually operate?
No, I
No.
usually make paintings that take 1 to 2 months. But then I did this collaboration with a musician who taught me that. Well, he would come and he would create a song in real time, and I would create a painting in the 3 to 6 hours he was over at my studio. and I learned how to be fast and immediate. Yeah.
Good for you. They any people married? I was just thinking about.
I'm not.
You're not?
Are you, Peter?
Noah? I am.
No.
Davis?
I'm married to a Greek woman.
Oh, that's right.
Anastasia would be very proud.
Are you married to this Greek woman?
No.
All right. Because I didn't read
no.
anything of the show before I got here. So.
Yeah,
Another
truth,
Greek
truth
woman.
be told, we've known each other for a gajillion years or something.
Through the
like
Greek
that.
Women Association? or-
Yeah.
Yes. Really?
It's a very, it's a powerful association. Small, but
But you know, if you guys go back to Greece now, you could buy the whole country, right? I mean, things are really rough over there.
it's a good time to go to Greece.
Good time.
Everybody should go to Greece.
That's show's brought to you today by the Greece Tourism Council. They
Have you been?
no,
It's
Man, I
have
want to
any of
go.
y'all been?
They can't afford me.
they can't afford you.
Not
Davis.
yet, not
Not
now.
yet, but-
No, they will.
But I mean,
It's
I'd
got
love
to come around.
We're going to work on that.
I'm
Dave.
limited. I'm kind of limited to places that can, hire me at this
Yeah,
point. But
we
I
gotta
would
get
love.
paid.
I would love to go. Beyond all.
Davis, how do you define success? I mean, you found these bands and that people like them. Is that
How do you define success? I will.
you
That's
put
a.
fannies in the seat? I mean,
That's
that
a.
kind of
That's
thing?
a. Well, I mean. That's a good question. I mean, there's a certain amount of professional respect, but I mean, also, I think there's a certain amount of. God, punt somebody.
Punt,
All right, so I
okay.
mean, well, here's
Good
a
answer.
question. Like, as someone who's done his own booking for a long time, only recently got an agent. Man, that's great. But but when
I
you
think success could be having other people handle your shit for you.
yeah.
And that's really.
yeah.
I think so.
But
Yeah.
as somebody who's handling the shit that other people are handling for themselves, if I'm booking my own shows, and your question to me is, I've never heard of you, kid. How many people are you going to bring?
Oh yeah, that's
it's-
success. You say,
it's a
I'm good
simple
for 50.
metric.
I'm good for
And if your only job was to deal with that metric, then anybody could do your job. But it's not just that. But wait, if we promote this show,
Right.
and people in New Orleans are going to say, "Oh, I've never heard of that, but I'm going to check that out," or something like that. you
Right.
know?
Well, I mean, for Naughty Professor, I guess we can look at your Polestar numbers, but
Yeah, what?
how are you doing on Polestar these days? That's some
I have
inside
no
baseball.
idea.
That's inside baseball beyond inside baseball. Sorry.
Well, no, do you book yourself, by the way? I mean, do you have an
I
agent?
book my own project. Naughty Professor has a booking agent, and we have 2 managers we work with, and we released our last album on a record label. But all that, so people.
You need 6 people to do this, and then you have to split it 6 ways, more or less, however it shakes out. But when I started, I just got to hit the road, and if the gig paid $50, then that was gas and $20. But to a band of 6, that just doesn't work. It's amazing to me to make the leap as a band of 6 to be able to be a successful touring band in whatever respect. That's a tough thing to achieve, and it takes some real. Stick-to-itness by 6
For sure.
people doing one thing. It's impressive,
And, Noah, do you have a band psychiatrist? I would think that would be important.
No, we don't.
Okay.
But yeah, we like to fight and play brothers. We like to argue and
Is it
get
all,
mad at
all
each
males?
other. Oh yeah, it's very.
Oh, yeah?
It's very male.
All right. I like it. I like
So
it.
do you miss having you work all by yourself? Is
I
that
do.
okay, or do you miss people?
Sometimes I just have to go out. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you didn't
no,
like
I like
people
being.
after all.
Not that much. No, I love working by myself, but I have music all the time. So it's me and my music, and my work.
Does the music set the tone for what you're going to paint?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Sorry.
Yes,
That's
yes.
what it is.
Get in there.
Oh, I think you get some naughty professor behind you.
So we haven't seen a painting. Most of us, some of us. If you gave us the classical artistic genre, it might not help me. But tell me.
How about dimensions? That would
Yeah,
be-
yeah.
I
give
do.
me an idea.
Okay, I call it human scale work because I like for the viewer to be in the painting.
Yeah,
I don't
nice.
like really. I like other people's stuff when you look at it.
Yeah.
You're like this size, you're looking at it, but I like to be in it.
Yeah.
So my work,
Nice.
you're in it.
Okay.
If you choose to be.
So generally,
So 6 by 6 feet,
yeah,
which is
some
kind of
bigger canvases.
Well, I do some larger stuff and.
Fairly realistic. Are we
Oh
talking?
no.
Surreal.
Well, this latest body work, it's just very expressive.
cool.
A lot
That's a good question. That's a good question. I actually, I'm able to give myself a certain amount of distance from this because the Carver Theater is something that can hold 1,000 people. So I'm looking for people who can push 1,000 tickets, and I'm so not of that realm that this, makes a perfectly acceptable side gig. But if you look at the like the schedule and you think that it's rife with nepotism, then yes, but that's because I've been in the business for so long, and if I hire just my friends, then that's some quality stuff. So Honey Island Swamp Band, Dave Jordan and the Neighborhood Improvement Association, Suki Manche Debout from Paris, France. Yes, I've known all these people for a long time. They also kick ass, so that's good. But I mean, I detach myself and just step into wearing that hat for a little bit. And and do the best I can.
Well, Dave, where does the Carver fit in this? Like, before we had nothing. We had like the Dome and the arena. Now we've got the Civic. The Harris announced last week they're going to put a music. Where does Carver fit in?
We're in the middle of a glut, and we're trying to find our way. And I think that one way to look at it is all of a sudden it's like through all this infrastructure infusion, we all of a sudden have Carver, Orpheum, Joy, and what do we do with them? And what do you do? But we're kind of going to zig where everyone else is zagging. So instead of just selective 1 or 2 dates of big touring national act, we're really trying to say, like I said, the weekly calendar of the blues on Monday, the jazz on Wednesday, and the TBC brass band on Thursdays, in addition to shows on Fridays and Saturdays and some touring national acts and things of that nature. So just go to carver.com and keep your eye on it, and hopefully you find a show you like. And the sound and the lights and everything are just beyond stellar kind of quality. I mean, It would be nice if our civic leadership had figured out a way to put asses in the seats, but that's our civic leadership.
Well, speaking of asses in the seats, Noah, when you're going to play someplace, is it a certain size venue each time, or is some places bigger than others?
Are you stronger in some markets than others?
Oh, yeah. No, it depends very much. In New Orleans, we have a pretty good following, and we'll play at, the Blue Nile or the Maple Leaf or the Howlin' Wolf or Tipitinas. Places that hold between probably 2 and 500 people mostly, But then when we're touring, it's a very wide range. There are a few cities, like some of our best are Pittsburgh and Washington, D.C., and also Burlington, Vermont, where I'm from. Maybe those places we can actually bring 100 people to a show, but then there are a lot of places where we're bringing nobody. We played a gig last Saturday in Marble Falls, Texas, outside of Austin, and there were like 8 people there, and 2 people were the guitar player's parents. And
you have the audience. You like to keep your audience to band audience ratio to like 1 to 2 or 1 to 3.
Right. That's how universities work. They Gee, and what do you do when you have a gig like that? You look out and it's just a few folks. I mean, you still got to do it and do it right?
Yeah, I mean, either it's really depressing because you spent all day and, kind of the last 6 years leading up to that gig, or like the gig last week was actually pretty fun because we hadn't played in a while, everyone was in a good mood, and we actually played some really great music, and, having a very small audience made us feel very comfortable, and we took some risks, and especially the kind of music we play, there's a lot of improvising, so it turned out quite well.
Chance to work stuff out. Well, I did think this just brings me back to this time. I think it was like, and I went to my first, and I was playing the Harvest Time Blues Festival in Monaghan, Ireland, and it was the first time that I got out of customs, and there was someone there with a sign that said Davis Rogan, and a really nice vehicle to take me to my really nice hotel, and I was just like, this is the night, this is the time that you got to cherish, so you can bank this for your next shitty night, because there will be a shitty night. No matter how good it ever gets, there will always be another shitty night.
When I land at an airport, I always just tell that person with the sign that I'm him. Yeah. I get great rides, really.
As
long as the sign say Peter Raschuti, then you're good to go, right?
I know, yeah. Sometimes I'm Dr. Goldberg and a lot of different things. Wow. Now, Andrew, first of all, you've been co-hosting this for how long? You were a child,
5 years.
5 years, yeah.
Wow.
And is this your other job?
No, it doesn't pay anything.
Oh, geez.
No.
Oh, I did not read it's right here.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right. Does not pay anything.
I consider it an opportunity to come meet some interesting people like yourselves.
We did that.
And I'd say I'm hitting the road half the time, and the other half I'm here on Wednesdays, and And it's also, I like it because, you know, if it's a show that feels like a good time to play a new tune, then I make sure I show up prepared with a new draft of something. And I think that I can fall into that tumble dry of just tweaking things over and over again, and I need to have
so you
something
workshop
like
stuff here.
Yeah, totally. Like
awesome.
every time I play a song, it's something new. You know,
Wow,
so
right.
I like that pushing that this show does for me.
What do all four of you do in social media? Do you?
Have you noticed that some people are Facebook and other people are Twitter, and the twain shall never meet? Because I had Twitter. You know, no, I guess I'm a Facebook person. Although I do have 500 followers on Twitter, I just never write anything.
Oh wow, that just shows how good you are, really. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
I'm huge.
But what about promoting
in
the
mid-sized markets?
And what does the Carver do to get their name out?
Oh, the Carver. They're working with the fine folks at Bon Maroc are out there getting the word out there, and they're doing a fine job.
Yep.
I'm sorry I didn't print my talking points. Bon Maroc
That's
people,
okay,
but
I'm just
I do
sorta
believe
curious.
I talked about the huge stage and the 8
Yeah,
o'clock
so
start
good.
times and
I'm
all
just
the other
wondering
things.
what you did for. What about social media for a painter?
How does do you play that or
Instagram,
Yeah,
maybe?
you in on
I
that?
do Instagram and Facebook, and I just use them for shameless self-promotion.
But
Do you
that's-
find you see?
have
I
to do
find,
that.
I find that my trick is I do like interesting insight, humorous anecdote, plug.
Yeah.
Interesting insight, plug. So, you know, if you just got to space them enough so people don't get bored of you, because if it's just you plugging your shit, then they're going to go elsewhere.
I got way shameful about the Facebook thing. Just seeing, you know, what the pool that you're entering into, I love the idea of just little clever anecdotes. Something, oh, look at me, I've got a sense of humor. And then some, you know, then a plug.
Right, exactly.
But,
You gotta mix
yeah,
it.
I
Gotta
got to
keep-
get back into the, you know,
Got to keep them fresh. Well,
got to keep it human.
It's so funny that you mentioned flyers, because it wasn't in fact the can we bitch about the Landry administration?
You can do whatever you want.
Because the thing is, flyers used to be a vibrant part of the art of the sort of the scene, like
And beautiful
and beautiful
visually,
and beautiful
and the
visually,
staples.
and then
Staples
and
would
the
get
melds and mounds of staples. And I just remember, I mean, like me and I used to cross paths with Rob Mercurio, putting up flyers, you know, and there was something. You know, but I mean, in the end, it cost like, you know, $20 in the flyers, and you burnt a lot of gas, and you killed a bunch of trees. But man, it looked beautiful. And this whole sort of ordinance where they're like, let's beautify our fucking telephone poles. I mean, for fuck's sake, and you know.
Yeah, I remember that. That was shortly after I moved here. About
Yeah, then
a year after I
all of a sudden the
started
city was like
flyering,
the city was like, we will notify the club and fine them, so they're going to take it out
shit.
of your pay.
Yeah.
Well, no, you still do it, right?
Flyers?
I just saw them.
Well, we make,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you probably there's kiosks.
Yeah,
So he's a
coffee shops
felon
and
or
whatnot.
something.
Yeah,
No,
coffee
no.
shops.
There's-
I guess
there's-
some restaurants.
There's
mostly
places.
Coffee shops,
Yeah, there's
Yep.
places, but the idea of like the pole and the pole etiquette, you know, like you didn't
Yeah,
put
yeah.
your shit over somebody else's show, or
Try
you
to
had
find
to go
a show
kind of
that already
higher up.
happened and
you
put it
know,
over
Find
that
a
way.
taller guy, yeah.
There was. I mean,
It was being handled.
it was. Yeah.
That's a shame. Did they really find clubs?
They really started finding
That's
clubs. That is why
ridiculous.
there are no more. It's like when the guy showed up. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to be sensitive to the culture," and he showed up at the second lines and decided, from looking at it, that we could be charging these food truck people. Like, we could be charging the people selling. Like, is that what you got from that? Well, anyway, and trust me, I'll be cleaner when we do the other one for WWNO.
Oh yeah. You would be
Fucking
edited,
right.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
No. We'll do.
No, it's
This is just a rehearsal for
we have
that
an
shit.
eraser.
That's good.
Get it
Did
all
you
out
know-
now. Let it be. Let it be.
I do. What was the name of the show? It was called At the Movies, and it was with these two guys, and I did a very impassioned defense of The Empire Strikes Back, because they were like shitting on it, and I was like 11, and I went on WWNO, and I was like,
You did?
Yeah, dude. You got this. Well, then first I started on WTUL, because I had this Radio Shack Realistic tape recorder, and I could just pick up WTUL, and I would hit play and record, and would ride my bike down and say, put me on the radio, put me on the radio, put me on the radio. I was like 8 years old, and they gave me these PSAs about VD, and I was reading them, and the grown-ups
No
were
way.
laughing.
That's
And,
great.
and I would go home and hit rewind and listen to it and be like, man, I fucking sound like shit. You know, on the
Oh,
radio. You know,
that's-
Got to work on this, yeah.
gotta work on
boy,
this.
it started really early though. That's terrific.
yeah. So I was on TUL, and then KRRC in Portland, Oregon, and then 13 years on WWOZ. So I've been like off the radio for as long as I've been on, which is a long ass time.
Well, and one thing you need to know is that all stations to the east of the Mississippi start with W, and all the ones to the west of the Mississippi start with K.
Okay. Yeah. In fact, did you know that if
We
you
always
were,
have an
if-
educational component.
right?
to
Well,
this
if you're,
Apparently.
and here's an educational component for you. If you sign with the WGA and they're going to Taft-Hartley you on your first script, you should go and register your script. Go get a post office box in Algiers. You save yourself $1,500 because you don't have to join. Because of what side of Mississippi you fall on.
Really?
My attention
Zing.
span is also very short, so I
Sorry,
missed the second
say
half.
No,
of
when you
it.
hear the show
Yeah,
later,
dude,
it's going to be great.
No. It's I'm trying to.
I was like,
Let's
wait.
get back to. Let's get back to.
And a
let's
stage,
talk-
all you
let's talk
really
about
need is
art.
like a raft. It's just you're right across the other side. It's
Let's get back to talking about art. I really like how you're.
Talking
So what
about
do you
art.
think? How's the scene these days in like a
In
post
La Nouvelle-Orléans?
K world and all that kind of thing?
It's vibrant. It's good
It's
here.
good.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's,
you know?
yeah,
You're feeling
it's-
good about it.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about it. I mean,
Kids,
it's
the kids are doing stuff.
everybody, kids, grown-ups.
Yeah, it's
Grown-ups are more.
we got a young person with us, you know. You might want to ask him something.
We have a 5-string bass player here, so what can I say?
Yeah, that's. He didn't bite your 6-string, I noticed.
No.
I
That's
was
too
about
bad.
to address that.
Although Chris Severin, dude, Chris Severin.
He's my dude.
Oh,
I've
dude,
taken
Chris-
many lessons from him. He's
Chris Severin's
incredible.
such a good. He plays a 6-string bass.
I've-
plays the
I've-
7-string, actually.
I've seen him with,
Yes.
with
with
Nicholas.
with Nicholas, yeah, right. He
Which
also
is
did all
who
those.
I collaborate-
I know all those. She did that collaboration thing she was talking about. I didn't know if you were quiet on that or not.
No.
So she did the collaboration she did with Nicholas Payton.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so
who
Nicholas.
that's who that was writing the song then.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's some big stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his album.
Place is on fire, but don't just keep going.
Yeah, it's
There's
okay.
no
We're all
problem.
right.
So is he doing an album called Paintings now? or
He's doing
something?
an album. The album has been released digitally, and it will be released. I'm not sure when.
It was mastered
and,
by Blake Lay, wasn't it?
By whom?
Oh God, Inside Baseball. Never mind.
Really?
I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
It'll be released in a hard copy, however you say it. It's called Textures, and my
I know he did numbers and letters and
Textures was
textures.
after that.
There you go. Cool.
And then and my show was called Reckless Daughter in Real Time. So I had a show of paintings, and he made an album, and we did them in real time in my studio.
That's amazing.
How'd you come
It
up with
was
the title for
amazing.
that? Were you a reckless daughter?
It's just I came up with
Just
it.
came up with it. Yeah.
Would that be referring to yourself or your daughters?
Not my daughter.
Okay, all right. But no.
And you have daughters.
I do.
You have 2?
Athena and Artemis, yeah.
Oh, great names. Artemis is a woman of the hunt, right?
Goddess of the hunt.
Yeah,
And the
that's-
moon.
Don't mess with her.
Don't fuck with Artemis. Nobody fuck with Artemis. You'll be sorry if you do. Or Athena, really.
Yeah,
Don't
no.
fuck
What
with
does
her
that,
either.
what does that mean, by the way, in Greek mythology?
She's the goddess of wisdom and war.
Oh, that is great. Mm-hmm. That is great.
Yeah.
The,
Yeah, they're cool.
if I have more kids, I will name them after the street names like Grotto and
Game that we really
Do you file your BMI Live paperwork?
I don't think we do. Is
That's
that
a
you
shit,
mean?
Dude, I make like $17.50 a month just telling them that when I play my stuff
Oh,
at
that's
the
great.
Three Muses. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
No.
yeah, man. Register your shit.
We've been talking about that for like 3 years and have never followed through.
It's in 2 keystrokes you can make $17.50 a month.
Tell me more. Do you have to you have
Nice.
to write each song that you played down? How does it?
Well, if you're a BMI artist, this is just for example. I think
yeah.
this is actually how they chase down clubs that don't pay their license because they ask you to go around and
Yeah.
report everywhere that you played,
Right.
and then so they say, oh, but now that you've reported these places that pay the BMI license, here's some BMI money. But I really think they're trying to chase down,
Yeah.
places that don't,
Yeah.
have a license, which I won't name because I like working there. So
Right.
something. I'm not going to rat them out, but no, it's a. This is, oh my God, we have tangentialized on the most insignificant fact.
Oh, that's interesting shit. That's what happy hour's all about.
Right
Just,
on, dude.
Wherever
Come
you're
on.
going.
I've taught finance at Tulane for 30 years, but you are the one laying in these financial tips
strange
here.
little income.
1,500 going across the
income,
river and
income stream.
I think it's a good threat to throw at the club. If the hospitality's not right. Or
Right,
something.
man,
Come on, like
you didn't have my, right, exactly. I asked for a dozen waters, so
Yeah.
I'm reporting you to ASCAP.
Yeah.
ASCAP, CSAC's coming for you, bitches.
Right.
You know, like,
Mr. Blue M&M. Yeah, that's what you need. What would be the next level for you, Noah? Would it be a club or something, or something where it would be like a ta-da thing?
a bigger, meaner booking agent who would like shove them in on bills that they didn't even deserve to be on because they were that mean and fighting for them.
Yeah, that would be great, actually. Or, I mean, the next level would be doing more like festivals around, jazz festivals and also kind of the hippie jam band festivals.
Yeah.
That stuff, and actually selling tickets when we tour, and actually making.
Did you
some
see
money when
Electric
we tour.
Apricot?
Some money.
No.
Oh my God, Electric Apricot: The Quest for Festaroo, done by fellow bass player Les Claypool. It's a really hilarious jam band spoof.
I might think that was funny.
Festaroo. Electric Apricot. You might also find it painful, but.
Because now that would be cool, wouldn't it? No, you get on that circuit, and there's all summer long. There's festivals, right? There's.
Do you guys,
absolutely.
how frequently do you guys get on jam cruises?
We've never done the
Really?
jam cruise.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Principal or
For our
or-
studio audience, what
Oh
is a
no,
jam
we
cruise?
would love to do that, but
yeah.
we've never been asked to do it.
Man, you guys would be perfect for it.
Yeah.
Get on a cruise ship?
Yeah, jam cruise. All right, yeah. Davis, I'm sure you've been on a
I've
cruise.
not been
What is
invited
a
on
jam
any
cruise?
cruises.
Okay,
Steve,
so, all right,
These
let
are
me,
go.
big
let me-
boats.
let me explain this to everybody.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
So I believe it originated with jam bands or sort of jammy music. Somebody rented a cruise liner and put a bunch of jam bands on it, sold tickets to go on a cruise with jam bands. So you stop at a couple places, but really what you do is cruise through the ocean with your favorite jam bands. And
And
really,
now there's a blues cruise.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they-
yeah,
The
that's
thing
what
is,
I've heard.
Andrew, is
They've
what
diversified.
speaking of this, is that we need a poignant, funny solo act singer-songwriter cruise, and
love
then we
it.
could both be on it.
Yeah, you think we could
I have
put
yet to
it?
be asked.
But what cruise
Yes,
do you
that's
think? It wouldn't be the
poignant.
jam cruise, would it? We couldn't
It wouldn't
fit
be a
into
jam
that
cruise. No. It would be the funny, poignant singer.
We could just go on any
songwriter
cruise.
boat.
They all have weird
But it
little
has, it
variety
has to
acts.
sound, it has to sound good.
You bring
I
your
think.
own mic. You
Yeah,
know what, you got a
self-
crowd.
Yeah, I don't think being trapped on a boat with a bunch
I
of
was going to
people
say,
is-
now you would get groupies that would just,
Well, you've nailed it on the head. I've been on one of these music cruises, and there's in fact, believe it or not, like an Americana songwriter cruise.
Oh,
I
is
didn't
there?
know.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm so pumped that there is. I thought I had to be in a different genre to be on one of these cruises, but apparently not. That's great. But yeah,
Is
here's
there
the
an art
dark
cruise,
secret
though?
about it is
Art cruise.
walked out, somebody was standing there sort of taking in the sun, and I saw him and he saw me, and then he just gave me this look and kind of held up his hands, and I was just like, held up my hands, and I was like, absolutely respect, man. And I just walked away, and he was like, I was like, dude, last thing he wants is someone
Right.
bending his ear about Waterloo cocksucking sunset one more time. But, so
you just walk through the fairgrounds with your singing
I
Lola by yourself.
I just let him be, and it was a moment of like dignity amongst humanity. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, those
and then there's the rest of the music business.
And then you waited for him by his hotel door.
That's right, yeah.
Right.
It's Davis.
Hi, Ray. You remember me from such stockings as?
Remember I waved at you?
But Andrew, it goes further than that,
Andrew,
right?
Andrew, you don't know my name, do you? Are you tired? Do you get tired? of that, Noah? You don't know me, do you? You don't remember me, do you? Oh, jeez.
Now, they want to have sex with you, don't they, Andrew? I mean, that's part of it, isn't it?
They're often, sometimes. But,
Sometimes,
I,
right, not
I
all
think
the time.
most of the time it's more like they're with their significant other and they're both in on the act where they both love, going to, kind of.
So they both want to have sex with you.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying.
That's a whole different show.
I don't know,
They
honestly.
just
I
want to
just don't know.
cuddle.
They just want to cuddle. That is
They
great.
just want to feel close to you.
Noah's going, how many years away am I from this? This is incredible.
You're one jam cruise away from this. You will know. You will go to the jam cruise and you will know.
You're just one jam cruise away. Davis Rogan, Cafe Art Music, BMI.
Sex in the morning, in the evening. Hey, we got fun. There's there's no art cruise, right?
No art cruising out.
That would
There
be
never
so.
is.
Oh, really? I'm thinking
I don't
just
like being the trap thing, being trapped on, but no.
What about your
But I mean,
buyers
just
and
imagine
viewers?
a-
They get all they get too chummy.
My buyers and viewers?
Yeah, people.
Well,
Everybody wants to meet the artist, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to meet the artist, yeah.
Do you have like a set thing you say that pleases them and then they go off?
No set thing. Got to
Yeah.
read each person. Everybody, people just want to know why you do what you do.
Yes.
Or how you do
Patrons.
it.
I mean, there's
do get
patrons
those
and
questions.
clients, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
occasionally patrons become friends or clients. I mean, there's a.
Or stalkers.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of the above, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's about human relations.
I like people who
and-
like my art. Yeah, I really do.
That's good
I do.
because you like money. That's
Well,
one of
no,
the
I
great
mean,
things.
I'm a
too.
genuine
I
sucker.
I like to sell my stuff.
I'm
yeah.
also a genuine sucker for people who are fond of what I do. That
Yes.
touches the idea that you've made a connection, or that
Yeah.
someone can
It's all about a connection.
someone
Davis,
someone
it
who can
is.
quote when someone quotes your lyrics, that's just like
When someone knows the name of a painting that you made in 1998.
Exactly.
Yeah, look
That
at
is
that.
my best friend for life.
Andrew, what do you have that has that same feeling? That
Oh,
somebody
I think
remember
I
David
was just
said,
saying-
like, you
I
know,
was just
remember
Yeah.
a lyric that's special.
Wow,
Yeah.
yeah. And then Noah, they always come up to you and go, "You still with those guys?" That's how they say.
I mean, occasionally people come up to us and say, like, you know, we like your music and maybe this song in particular, and I'm usually like, wow, that's amazing. Like, I'm so glad that you like it. That's great. It doesn't happen often enough that it's annoying.
Not yet.
That never gets old.
No.
I mean, genuine people who get what you do.
Yeah.
You know.
I think if you have any shame in your body, you know, like unless you're a complete egotist, I mean, of course we all have it a little bit to be creating things, but then there's that other, you know, piece of the puzzle that tells you, you know, who are you to put this thing out there, or, you know, you just doubt it and doubt it and doubt it until somebody else comes and says, I like that. And then you say, oh shit, you know, you've put something out there that didn't exist before you put it out there, and then somebody was affected by it. And then,
No,
yeah,
it's
well,
validating.
That'll make
And-
it go forever.
But and any artist on any level feels
Yeah.
the same way.
Totally.
I've met artists who are in books and museums and history, and they are very insecure about their work, and they all still are surprised when somebody loves
Really,
them.
after years of
all-
success, you said.
Yes.
Oh,
well, I
that's
think it's the
everybody, for
nature of the
sure.
beast. Artists are insecure beings.
I got a question for
Is
you
that
guys.
why they do art?
I don't know if it's why we do. I mean, I just think, well, it's why you keep doing stuff because
Okay.
you're still trying. You're trying to always.
So,
It's
so
about your
things
mothers,
better.
basically. Is it right there?
Maybe
No?
more my dad.
here's an idea that I'm curious about for you guys, you creative guys and gals. When when you are creating these days or in the past or whatever you've tried, how often do you feel like you need to bounce this off someone who's not in the band or, you know, not yourself? How often do you feel like you need some outside opinion from a trusted colleague or even a stranger to move forward, or even to decide if it's done, or these sort of things? Or do you just go with, this needs to be my mind, my vision, our band's song, so nothing else can come in?
No,
It just,
I
you know,
love feedback.
Me too, but I don't know how much
I
should-
like, okay, the Cox cable guy. Best critique I've ever gotten was when I had the Cox cable guy come over and he sat down in my studio and gave me a little 20-minute
Love it.
critique.
No
It was
way.
really, really the best.
Yeah, what
That's
I mean,
awesome.
Just from the heart. He liked it, but he told me why he liked it and how it was all about how it made him feel. And that's all I care
If you're
about.
getting that, the cable bill is not that expensive in reality, right? I mean,
They,
no.
they pretty much pay me. I like to
I
Are
mean,
there
we have
principal songwriters in your group, or
everyone writes, but some
Okay.
people more than others, and we do some things. Some songs have come together very collaboratively, and then some have been really like from the pen of one person. And I would say it is, when I write a song, it's very helpful. You know, I usually have my insecurities about it, but when I bring it into the band and hear them play it versus just me playing different parts on my computer on Logic, I'm usually it really comes to life, and it usually seems so much greater than it did. And usually I don't very often need critiques from outside people, but just the critiques of the people in the band
Yeah, that's nice.
is enough to help it become, you know, what it needs to be. And a lot of times, like we just rehearsed today, we were working on a new song that our tenor sax player wrote, and we're playing a gig in Jackson, Mississippi this weekend, and we don't really have a lot of respect for Jackson because the one time we went there were 4 people at our gig, and we're kind of like, fuck Jackson. So that's a good place to try the song out for the first
is it
time.
Martin's or
Martin's, yeah.
Martin's? Oh my God!
Jackson
yeah.
is the only place I've bought a hotel room before showing up and didn't stay there because when I showed up, we had to get out of town. Yeah.
Man,
So-
I actually kind of liked 119 Underground and the George Street Grocery.
Yeah.
Howlin' Miles.
Howlin' Miles is
was
all
all
right.
So, and then of
Howlin'
course
Miles,
the
up in
mating
there,
call
yeah.
of an old Miss Girl. Y'all, I'm so drunk. Hotty toddy.
So we, you know, we
but
want our shit to be good before we play it in New Orleans. But we, you know, touring and playing, you know, different levels of gigs is good for trying out new material that we've learned.
And can you be critical of a guy that wrote a song, but in a nice way, or does it always get mean, or it doesn't ever get mean?
There's good critique and bad critique, and I mean, and I think you've got to learn how to like offer positive criticism. I mean, I've had, you know, writing partners
Yeah.
sometimes, and more times it works out better me alone. But you know, you've got to think of it. I mean, telling someone something sucks is not an effective note. And if in the end you want to do is actually change something, then you should say, I don't know about that, but you offer up one or two ideas which they might in turn reject for something better, so they still have ownership. But you've been able to get your point across.
Yeah, I love the idea of an open mic where you play 2 or 3 songs and someone, out at the bar says, I really like that second one. In other words, the second one was better than 1 and 3.
Right.
It's just helpful things like that. You play a friend a couple of songs and they react better to one. You get what you get from it.
You just stepped right into it, and you're just manning the
Nailed
ship.
it.
Thank you so much.
Like a pro, man.
I was just here for a hamburger, and they said come over. Let's see. I want to thank our producer, Graham DuPont, musical director Christian Unruh, and music producer Jean Valois. Is that right?
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
Okay, these are close enough. The technical director Thomas Walsh, who's done an amazing job, and live feed directors Asher Griffith and Grayson Jernigan. Theme music was written and played by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on the show, drop us a line. Our address is on the website. Check out our other happy hour shows. Check out our other happy hour kind of shows. Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti. That's me at Commander's Palace. True to the Game with Chris True. Very funny man. Midnight Menu +1 with Margot Moss. And the man who ate New Orleans, Ray Canada. Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tooker. And Milo's for Andrew Duhon, who I really do, is everyone
thanks,
around
man.
the table, and Wayfair, and back to our office at INO Broadcasting Central. Thanks for joining us. I'm Peter Raschuti. Next week, Rich Collins will be hosting, and we'll meet right back here then for more Happy Hour. Thanks, folks.